Shannon, are there any questions from online?
There was a comment actually from Joe just right after the break, actually from that last page you were on, how the 6 accounting categories you highlighted, he said it just set off a huge light bulb for him. So.
Okay, perfect. And the way I got to that was from the map. There's tons of different ways, but I went to maintenance. We had to turn it on, but it's called the financial flow calculator. And literally, these are just your main things: revenue, cost of goods, expenses, assets, liabilities, and equity. That's it. And then we kind of track it according to that. So those are your pieces. This is a sweet little worksheet, okay? Like I said, nothing gets saved into the database here, but you literally can kind of create whatever scenarios you want, and then you can, it's great for training. If you don't know where things go, it's kind of, here's what happens. Like, it's a great, quick way to kind of plug it in. So what we used to do is we used to have paper and pencil, and we'd say, okay, so you've got this over here on your revenue. You just sold something. Oh, that also brings up your cost of goods because you sold those items. Okay, what that also does, we're trying to teach cause and effects in a teeny little area, okay? But it literally does kind of make things go up or down. It's quite simple when you get to that level. Shannon, any other comments on that?
No, not yet.
Okay, perfect. So let's review for just a second. Cheryl, looks like you're writing. Do you want me to wait for just a minute?
Okay, I got it down. I just want to know what the name of the page was.
Okay, yeah. It's called the financial flow calculator. So it's a permission. It's under System Basics if you wanted to find it under permissions.
And today, the snapshot is number 31.
Okay, good. Number 31.
I wrote down 31, but I just didn't write down.
Permission 31. Perfect. Okay. And so basically, most people don't even need that unless they're kind of like playing or teaching or simulating it. It's virtually like a little simulator. But we added some JavaScript and stuff to it, so it's automatically doing the math, so you don't have to be like, okay, what is this? Like, you could just plug some of your stuff in, and it works. Matter of fact, just for fun, why don't you give me a random scenario, and we're going to plug it in just for fun to play with it in our financial flow calculator. Anything. We can buy things, we can sell things, we can get a deposit, we can make an investment into a company, we can get a loan, like, just for fun.
Okay, somebody gave us $10,000.
Okay, great.
Investment.
Okay, where are we going to start? Where would that go? How would that hit?
Assets.
Okay, eventually we're going to get $10,000 as an asset, right? How else do we have to do that? Now, was this a loan, or was this a stockholder first, or like an investment in the company? Are we going to pay it back, or was it initially added, hey, this is my investment in the company?
Our great aunt who has lots of money died and left us $10,000.
Okay, so guess what? You become the beneficiary, okay, and you're going to put that under an equity piece, okay?
Okay.
So $10,000 would literally be super simple. I'm just going to kind of clear these erasing. Inside the financial flow, we're going to go like this. I got $10,000. So this went to the bank, right? $10,000. As soon as I move out of that, it instantly throws me off by 10 grand, right? So I come down and I have to use or maintain balance sheet item, and I have to create a new thing called, it's an equity, okay? So this is basically my investment for $10,000. As soon as I move out, it's happy, okay? You want to see how to do that in real life?
Sure.
Okay, watch this. So here's what we got. We got $10,000, right? And we know that eventually it's going to have to hit balance sheet item. Where do you want to start? On the equity portion or on the asset portion? We're going to be bouncing into a user-maintained balance sheet item here. Okay, this will be great. We'll set one up.
Okay. I don't know. Where's the best place to start?
Okay, let's go do a deposit. Okay, we might have to circle back around because we don't have all of our pieces in there totally yet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, you know what? Awesome. Deposit, new, go. Whoop. It's going to go to my bank in California. It's on today, and I'm going to put 10 grand into my bank. Okay, 10,000, and I'm saying, okay, whatever. Tell the story a little bit, okay? Okay, piece of cake, we say add deposit. Now by default, it wants to say, let's go see what kind of invoice payments that you have that are outstanding. Well, guess what? This money did not come from an invoice at all. Okay, so virtually what's happening here is normally invoices gets payments and then we deposit those and that hits the bank. That's the normal flow. Okay, this is basically coming like this. I'm just going to quickly draw a line. Here's your normal flow. Invoices goes to holding that money for a time period. It gets deposited, it hits the bank. This is the normal flow. This is what we're trying to do. Guess where this money came from? I'm going to eventually have, this money came from here, deposit to bank. Okay? Because I'm going to have to create an equity account. It came from a different source. So I'm just going to erase those drawings real quick and we'll jump right back in it. So at this point, instead of trying to say building a sales deposit, like what are my invoice payments, I have to go like this. Edit the line items. I want to go back to the item I just created, which was number 20 for 10,000, and because I have an admin permission, I'm going to put it in separately. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. Line item. I've got 10 grand coming in. Money type. I probably paid by a check. Location. It's going to go into my Sacramento location. We haven't even talked about this, but does this look very similar to expense types? These are deposit types. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to probably say balance sheet item, okay? Which basically, in Adilas terms, says I'm going to have to do the opposite thing. I'm entering into a manual level. Instead of it being automatically flowing it to my income statement, I never want this 10,000 to hit my income statement ever, okay? That's why I said let's send it to the balance sheet, okay? I'm going to come on down, and I'm just going to copy and paste my information right here. Grab that, quick copy, come down, paste. Okay? Boom, add it. Check the check number field. Aha, it wants some validation. Okay, prove it. What check number was it? So now I have 20 for $10,000 and 10,000. So that's half of my entry, right? According to this little, the profit of the little thing, we did the top piece. I'm going to actually open up a new little window just so we can kind of bounce back and forth between it. And I think we already cleared it, but basically I'm just going to kind of show you what we did. What we did right here is we said deposit 10 grand. Okay? Boom. So currently, we haven't got everything figured out yet. Okay? All we did was just our original deposit. And we did say we're going to do a balance sheet, which is on this side, so we technically now need to go create that entity. In order for it to balance, I have to put that investment in, okay? So Adilas has no clue where this money came from. You just said, hey, I got 10,000. The bank, at this point, it spiked up. If we go check our balance sheet right now, it's going to be off by over 10,000 because it doesn't have that other offsetting piece of the puzzle. It's a manual piece that we don't even know where it goes. So what happens is, let me just switch back to my other window here. We've got this in. I'm going to write this down. Input deposit number 20. Awesome. Control copy or write it on a piece of paper, whatever you're going to do. And now I'm going to go here. I'm going to say balance sheet items. You have to have a pretty high admin permission to do this. You're basically making an investment. It's going to go on your books in the company. Okay? This is pretty high admin. Go to the home, and I want to just kind of say, hey, maybe I actually want to see, hey, do I have anything right now under loans? I know that this is new. Nope, I don't. Okay. I'm going to create a new one. I'm technically creating a brand new object now. So I'm going to come down here. This is going to be equity, and this is probably going to be paid in capital right here. And I'm going to go paste. Oh, I only got 20. I thought I had all that information about my dead aunt died.
Yeah.
Money paid in, okay? Here's the date that it's going to start. Here's the item value. Now I can actually just, is this ever going to change? Are we going to be adding to this, or is this a one-time deal?
She only got it once, one-time deal.
Okay, cool. So watch this. If we wanted to, we could actually just plug it in, 10,000, go. What I'm going to actually do is probably go like this. I'm going to let it start at 0, but I'm going to actually start bringing it up with a sub saying, hey, it's tied to this deposit. Okay? I want to kind of show a little bit more information. Literally, if it's a one-time deal, you can put it in there. It doesn't hurt anything. Okay? Matter of fact, we'll do it that way. Boom, here's the starting date. What's the starting amount? 10,000 as well. Okay? What's the running amount? Currently nothing. Do we want to use just the assigned value? Or this is the key piece to this puzzle. Like if you add a PO, is it a basic live? Is it a request? Is it a build? Okay? Invoice, is it a counter sale? Is it a customer invoice? Is it a transfer? Okay? On a balance sheet, this is the crux right here. Which amount do you want me to show? Okay? You want me to show the 10,000? Do you want me to add other pieces? Do you want me to do some subtraction because I'm going to keep taking away from it? Or like, and it'll depend on what you're doing. Okay? This is the crux of it. Let's go ahead and say assigned value right now. It's not a problem.
What are the other options then?
The other options are the assigned value will say, boom, take whatever I enter in as its value. Okay? The difference is the assigned value minus the running. And the running are additional things that you're doing. Say somebody keeps paying in investments, or say you keep paying out certain things, or you have an asset and it keeps going up and down because it's being depreciated, or it's you're going to want to do the running. Okay? But if you have a loan, you might even want to say, boom, the assigned value minus the running, okay, or whatever. These are your options. Right now we're just going to say assigned value and say add the item. So technically I have number 5 here. Its item value is this, $10,000, and it's right here. I'm going to go ahead and add a sub just so I can tie it in to deposit number 20. Okay? Add an item. It's going to bring the value up by 10 grand. And this was the original deposit. And I'm going to actually tie that right into number 20 because I just remembered that. And I'm going to hit sub. Okay. Okay. So now I technically have a link right to 20. That's what I wanted to get. Okay. That's what I was going to recommend. If it's a one-time deal, here's kind of a little key to help you understand the balance sheet stuff. There's a little asterisk, and it'll tell you which value it really is doing. So right now, we said, hey, it's going to start at this, but then it added some other stuff. I can actually change this. Because I'm starting to add subs, I would recommend that we actually, this might confuse people, because it says 20,000, because we said it started, and then we started to have it. It's getting some running items. Watch this. I'm just going to do a quick edit main. I'm not trying to confuse you. I just want to show you the difference. Watch where this little asterisk is right now. This is the value that would be associated with the balance sheet, where the asterisk is. Okay. So if I technically, I'm good to go. Even though this one says 20, this is the piece that I'm trying to like. Oh, I don't know if they like that or not. Like, because it's like, oh, whoa, where did that come from? We gave it an initial value and we added an item to it, so we basically doubled it. But the balance sheet is only going to pull where your asterisk is. Okay. So currently we said assign it right to the item value. Okay. So technically, watch this. If I go balance sheet all, find it, equity, capital paid in, investment from Cheryl, 10 grand. Okay. So even though it has those other numbers there, it has to do some, which math am I going to be doing? Okay. So I'm going to go back into this right here. I'm going to edit main, and I'm actually going to say, you know what? Instead of doing 10,000, let's start you at 0. Start you at 0. And then I'm actually going to do this. We're going to do the running amount. That way, whatever I add, in case I get another check from Cheryl's dead aunt, or if Cheryl wants to put more money in, I can keep adding that to it. Okay. So I made a small little switch. I zeroed those out, and I said edit. So now it says it started at 0, and eventually I added 10,000, which is right there. And now look where my asterisk is now. It's now using the running amount. So if Cheryl does another investment later on, all I do is I add another little sub, and then all of a sudden it'll keep track of when these pieces happened. But because of this date, it knows how to pull it into the balance sheet. Okay? Instead of just this one sum number, it's never going to change. That's when I would use the assigned value. This is a single thing. I just have to get it on my books. I've got this much here. Like it's kind of an old thing where it doesn't change. If something's changing, I'd recommend that you use that running total, so that you can kind of go up and down and let it flex with you. according to the date. Okay, so watch this. We made some changes. The asterisk is right here right now, meaning this is the one that we're going to use. Watch this. If I go back again, all balance sheet, user maintained items, 10,000. It's still right at that $10,000 mark, but it's now grabbing that from the sum of the ups and downs below that. Okay? So, guess what we just did on our little piece here? We just said, $10,000. Good job. Okay, we just kind of created that whole little miniature cycle right there. That was a deposit that did not come from invoice money. That was a balance sheet item. And you can see that it took a little bit more work to get that in because all of a sudden that is not the normal automated flow. We had no clue where it came from. If it came from an invoice, oh sweet, got it. Oh sweet, got it. I know the location. I know the cost of goods. I know taxes. I know customers. I know all this. Where'd that 10,000 come from? It has no clue. So watch, here's one thing that I would probably do to make it full circle, okay? And this is me kind of being almost to an anal type. I'm gonna document this story, okay? We have deposit that's sitting out here for 10,000, and this investment now, it actually shows. I'm gonna switch back. Okay, so watch this. Paid in capital by Cheryl. If I hit details, deposit number 20. Okay, I have a way right back to that deposit. Here's my new item number, number 5. Okay, so if I go to 20 right here, it's currently not. It has zero connection to number 5, even though the balance is all correct in my accounting. Okay, if I'm trying to do the story, here's how I'm going to do it. Watch this. Click. Do you see where I'm going to go? Watch this. Scroll down, find sub-balance sheet item right here, put in 5, come down, put a quick little note. So that's a physical note, and I add the tie-in. So I'm currently on the printable deposit slip, but guess what I now have? I have a round trip. I'm on balance sheet 5. I'm on 20. I'm back to 5. I've got round trip pieces, okay? One teeny little piece of flex grid, and now all of a sudden those are now buddies, okay? And so I technically have documented that whole little story. That's how I would do it, just to kind of make sure that I had, okay, who's my buddies? Like when you start getting into user-maintained balance sheet items, it's a good idea to do that just because you're like, okay, here's the connection that really needs to happen. This guy right here, unless you were to put it in the notes, it would have zero clue that you actually deposited that in, and it made a part of this equity, this investment, okay, that's tied to Cheryl. Cool. Shannon, any other questions online?
No, there hasn't been any questions online.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of some of the things that we've done right here, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up and do a little bit of a lunch break, okay? Awesome. Shannon, can we have you just kind of say one of the things that we've been doing today, or just a light recap?
Yeah, today's been great. Kind of looking at some of the back-end accounting and going through how things are automatically flowing through the system. So system-maintained items that just are tracked through automatically, and then also items that we maybe need to specifically put into the categories we want, just because there's so many variables. So that's been great. It's been great to look at the balance sheet and the P&L, the income statement, and do some deposits and do some expenses and just see how they play together.
Awesome, awesome. This new little item that we just did, this 10,000, it made our bank go up, right? This 10,000 also, because we created a user-maintained balance sheet item, it made our equity go up, okay? So technically those are the balancing pieces. And that does kind of go clear back to almost like a double entry accounting type thing, but that's just that 0.25% of the balance sheet that we're not automating because we had no clue. That came from left field, okay? That was not something that was central inside of the system. So you have to just kind of use a little bit of user-maintained pieces, but it was pretty simple. We said balance sheet item new, add it. Let's set up the original. Let's add a sub. I could even scan in the original document, the check, the will from your grandma, whatever. like balance sheet items, it's one of the main players, so it can hold all of those type of information as well. So awesome. Let's go ahead and just jump back here to Matt. Cheryl, what's possibly a little recap that you could say?
Well, I appreciate knowing where the sales tax went to.
Okay.
I mean, I knew it was being recorded, but then I wasn't quite sure what happened after that, and that was a good way to know that, you know, I can find my sales tax right away because it's being recorded and everything, and then I'm just going to have to take care of it with whoever, because I live in a county, so I don't have city sales tax, I only have state sales tax, you know, and that kind of just helped me to know what's needed to do.
Awesome, awesome. And then, so eventually you would end up kind of doing an expense back out, those type of things.
To make everything else balance.
Yeah, yeah. So because eventually you have to send some money out the door. Whenever you send money out the door, you need to play right here in expense land, okay? And then depending on which container you put it on, like which of your many different little things that you're putting it into, you would actually say sales tax paid back to the county, sales tax paid back to the city, sales tax. Like, these might even be little cans that you set up as you do your business so that you can track, oh, look, hey, here's how much I collected, here's how much I sent you. Like, you have a full record transaction of what's going on, okay? Technically, sales tax, the place that gets kind of funky on it, you collect here on invoices, okay? You pay here. Usually those don't have a whole lot of normal connections, okay? And it's being tracked on the balance sheet, so there's a little bit of a funky relationship that goes on, and it multiplies itself because you have 50 states, 50 million counties, 50 million cities, you know, like it's, like, so we're kind of like, okay, cool, we know that exists, but you're going to kind of have to manually, lightly touch on that, okay?
Well, I
So,
could see how they change some of these internet laws and start doing taxes on e-commerce. It would be a nightmare.
well, it would be really tough for the people to, because basically what you are doing there is, here's how taxes are based right now. Taxes are based on location, okay? Are you in the city? Are you in the state? Are you here? Are you there, okay? So what happens is if they were actually doing it by e-commerce for everything that's done, they would almost have to say, we're going to now tax based on zip code. Or like potentially, depending on how far, that would totally flip a lot of the model.
Yeah.
And so what happens if you're actually doing a sale and you didn't have the customer information, so you didn't have a zip? You're dead in the water. How are you supposed to pay taxes on that? Unless it's tied to a location. Location inside of Adilas is on the base level. This is one of the foundations of Adilas. If you need multiples, watch this. Let's pretend that this is a plate and you got some pancakes, okay? You automatically have to have one pancake on your plate. How many locations do you have? This particular play site has 3. Imagine 3 little pancakes that are on your plate, okay? So this is your world, and we have 3 little levels on our world. We have Sacramento, we have, you know, Los Angeles, and whatever the other one was, okay? Bloop, bloop, bloop. You could potentially have as many pancakes as you wanted, and the whole model scales, okay? Depending on how you want to attribute things. But this is all within your little world. Pretend like it's a little plate with pancakes on it, okay? But the whole thing kind of needs to scale according to it. And that's why it's at the bottom. It literally is the base foundation of how things ride. A location is tied to expense receipt payments. Which, was I paying for Sacramento or was this the Los Angeles one? Okay. Invoices. Where did this person come? How am I going to collect the taxes? Location, location, location. Okay. All of these different things. Your deposits. Where did this money come from? Oh, that was from Sacramento deposit into even a central bank. Like, locations are filtered through this whole thing. If I'm tracking inventory specific and I have a PO that comes in, guess what the POs are assigned to? Which location actually needs to track that inventory? Locations are huge. They're down here on the bottom, kind of small, and nobody even thinks much about them, but they literally are the foundation of the entire thing. They create the foundation of the scalable model, which then allows you to do it. Earlier today we were talking about chart of accounts and how sometimes people used to kind of put the numbers like, hey, this is account number 2000. Well, if they had multiple locations, they'd have to say account number 2000-1, account number 2000-2, etc. What we do is we're like, why don't you name it in English, and why don't we let you add as many locations as you want? So then what we do is we create that same tie that they were getting with the 2000-2, but it's all in English. It's like supplies, Sacramento, okay? But we already have that. It allows it to scale and flex versus like, oh crap, now we have to. If you have problems, it really makes it problems if you have it that way. But it's literally a very scalable model if you think of it like a plate with pancakes. How many would you like? 1, 10, 5? Like it's very scalable that way as far as a plate goes. Awesome. Any other comments from online, Shannon? I think we're ready for some lunch. Yes,
Tanya said that it was a nice little side lesson on how the taxes work in Adilas. And Joe asked if we can do some bank reconciliations after lunch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be great. We will do clear out to the bank level. And Shannon, you did record some of the things that Cheryl had a question about too.
Yes.
She had a question about freight, I believe, on POs.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to head after lunch. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be back at about 1:30.